You were doing impressions of me there, saying, "Come on now."
No. I never do impressions
Yes,
of
you are.
When have I ever been
Yes,
known
you
to
are.
do an impression of you?
We're on the recording. So
really?
Yeah. So you said you hit your head yesterday. I hit my head about 2 weeks ago, and I wore a hat non-stop for 2 weeks because if you're bald and you hit your head, everyone can see because I've got a cut on my head. I'm trying to go around the earth acting intelligent, feigning intelligence.
Or you look like one of them old men who like picks their scalp.
Oh no, don't say that. That's a completely different thing.
So you're still bald?
Yeah, of course.
Just checking in.
Always and forever.
Checking in on the bald
Nothing's
status.
going to change, sir.
All right.
But if you hit your head and you cut your head because you have no hair protection as well, everybody knows that I've been walking into things.
Unless you have finally elevated to that place you aspire to be, which is floating off the ground, and then you're just gonna hit your head, aren't you?
Why would you hit your head if you were floating off the ground? Am I unstable in my flotation?
The wisdom.
I can levitate, but I'm a bit...
Because you're floating at like 6'7", and the doorways are just too low now. So
Listen.
You in lotus pose floating around.
How are you today, sir?
I'm doing very well, mate. I've had 2 clients already, so I'm feeling awake. And I'm on the second coffee.
Why? What time did you get here?
6:15.
You got here at 6:15. Love this.
6:20, something like
Love
that.
this.
It nearly killed me.
No, it didn't. No,
I'm not used to these things at the minute.
Why? Because you...
Sorry.
You're horrible. You're horrible.
Disrespectful with it.
But you mean you've just started taking on some morning clients here at the station gym?
Yeah, so I haven't had morning clients so far. I've just been smashing it through the evening. Initially, as I was setting up this online business stuff, I've just been using the mornings to deal with that. And then getting into sessions in the evenings, which has been quite a nice little turnaround. And I'm not going to do any more mornings than today, which doesn't really make any sense for me.
Just 1 day a week, is that what you're saying?
1 day a week mornings. I usually get home between like 9 and 10, and then it's a bit of a quick turnaround to like try and eat and get a good night's sleep and some element of chilling in there before getting up that early again. So yeah, times have changed. When I left the old gym, I used to have a 5:30 client in the morning 3 days a week, and then the other days were like 7 at the latest.
Agreed.
Start.
I would finish every morning.
Yes, every morning, and then I would finish at 2 p.m. by the end. Like 3 to 5 clients a day, like finish at 2 p.m. Yeah, and it's flipped on its head at the minute. I don't know why. I'm so bad at getting out of bed early at the minute. It's probably because I'm bad at going to bed early. But
you are quite bad at going to bed early, and I guess it's just a change of schedule because when you got into a routine of doing that at the other gym, and then obviously the lockdown occurred, and then you went and did like building work for a while just to give you something to do, and then you came and built this gym.
Way.
And then now you're moving back into personal training. So it's just been a lot of switching.
Switching. And consistently throughout all of it, that element of lockdown just meaning that, how long did we have there of a time period where you just didn't have to go to bed? And for me, left to my own devices, if I know I'm not getting up early and I've got like a week or something off, I will very quickly switch to like a 2 p.m. bedtime. Sorry, a 2 a.m. bedtime.
Oh, will you really?
And then not want to get out of bed till like 10 or something like that or later. So that just became the norm for a little bit. And oopsie daisy, Andrew Huberman's angry with me.
I was actually listening to Andrew Huberman podcast literally yesterday.
It's a good chap to listen to.
Yeah. You know me, I'm the most consistent of all creatures.
Yeah. Autistic would be the word.
Yeah. Well, I'm an autist. It's like an artist, but
I agree. You've put some sugar on top of it, yeah.
Yeah, got a little sugar in the tank. So I always go to bed at roughly the same time. I always wake up at roughly the same time, no matter what.
It's very healthy for you.
I wake up at 5 a.m.-ish every day, no matter what, no alarm, doesn't matter. I've been waking up at 4.
Mine's got work to do at the minute, don't you?
Yeah, not even on purpose though. I haven't been setting the alarm for 4. I'm just waking up at 4. Yeah.
I'll tell you, that was something actually last night. As I was getting up for this morning, I had a weird... Yeah, I was dreaming in like a way that was conscious as well as unconscious kind of thing. Like I was sleeping so lightly because I knew I had to get up early. Like if you're going for a plane or something, that kind of thing. And I bought an Easter egg to Scran last night on the way home. And
wait, is this real or in the gym?
No. This in the.
And for the listeners at home, to scran means to eat. Is that right?
Exactly. I was feeling a little peckish. So I was on with this, and then I left it out on the kitchen side, and then I had this weird dream that like I was late to my client, and then the Easter egg was at the gym, and I was cleaning it up, and then Phil was angry at me because I was late, even though it's self-employed work and all of this. And when you just don't sleep properly, and then the alarm went off, and I was like, oh, okay, that makes sense. And bit of a drag, but I've enjoyed my first 2 clients today. They were both of them new people for the first session.
First sessions, excellent.
Them, yeah.
This is a nice segue as well, because this is what we've come to talk about on today's episode, haven't we? And we're gonna get into the topic of conversation with only a 5-minute intro, bro, and now we can actually begin. We've never done this so far on the new iteration of the podcast. We usually do 45 minutes, try and say something legit, and then turn it off.
45-minute intro to a 5-minute podcast.
And say something for like 3 minutes, then we just turn it off.
Well, this podcast was born of us just being like, we chat shit a lot. Let's film it.
Does anybody else want to listen? Turns out they do. It turns out they actually do.
And we appreciate it, people.
Yeah, we do.
Thank you. But yes, go on, segueing on.
Yeah, so on today's episode, we've come to talk about, I suggested that I would like to talk about your personal training. I don't really know what angles to take from this really, but maybe just an overview of who do you like to work with, what kind, maybe, not answering all these in one go right now, but maybe we could talk a bit about who you like to work with, what skills towards what goals do you have? Like what are your specific areas that you have skills to help people with and towards? Because that's different for different people, isn't it? And then maybe what personal training looks like. So this is really nice because you said you just had 2 clients on the first session today.
Yeah.
I want to know what happens.
Yeah, that's cool.
With like Will Hukin's first session.
Because I think it'd be a cool thing to one day do a segment about, for the PTs listening maybe, about how to be a better PT as well. Which is also
That's a great idea.
Yeah, it's an interesting insight from a client's perspective as well as to how we think. Do you know what I mean?
That's a great idea. Okay, so we're going to do episodes about how to be good at personal training.
Yeah, because we're experts on that.
I am.
I
don't know about you, I just bring you along for the ride.
Fucking, let's fight about it. World's best nutritionist and the world's best personal trainer go head to head.
I don't mind. Challenge
versus
me.
Biomechanics.
Challenge me. Let's go.
This bitch wants a fight.
Let's go. I would like an intellectual debate, yes. In
game
terms
of chess.
Yes.
Okay. So what was the first port of call there? Let's go with what these clients had this morning. So I had 2 gentlemen. One of them we got through, I've gotten through the station, the gym that we're at, and kindly sponsored by.
Yes.
Yay, thank you.
Respect. Where are we? Mansfield Road.
Mansfield Road,
Sheffield.
The old fire station, and now it's the best gym.
Thestationgym.co.uk.
That's the chap. And they have a scheme whereby they sell personal training packages to their members, which they then, via discussion, assign to personal trainers.
It's
a very good scheme.
It's good for everyone. It's good for the gym, it's good for the trainers, it's good for the clients, it's good for everyone.
Literally, rising tide. Yeah, I agree. And this chap had bought 12, spent 10 of them on a different personal trainer who has left to go to another gym or something, and now he's got 2 outstanding. So he started with me, he's got 2 left on that. And then just for the people interested, the scheme is that after those 2 sessions, it's a self-employed client. It's no longer someone I got through the gym. And so I keep 100%.
Oh, so this guy's going to keep training after the 2 sessions,
Of course.
Oh, this is good. I was just thinking this is going to be hilarious because you're about to teach him more in 2 sessions than he would have got with 10 with anyone else.
Especially that guy.
Except for Rebecca Grayson, I'll give her a shout out. If you have 2 sessions with her, she'll smash it as well.
I pointed someone in her direction today.
Did you?
Yeah, I
That's
said
nice.
She'll be sat at the PT desk and she's got shit to say, so go talk to her.
Oh, that's a good sales pitch. She has shit to say.
She has shit to say.
Go talk to her, she'll say things.
Not coherently or in any kind of order. But,
oh my God.
No, she's smart. We like her. But this chap today, good session. Hockey player, who not professionally, but like enjoys hockey. Wants to get stronger, wants to get
ice
fitter.
hockey, field hockey, roller hockey.
Field hockey on a Saturday at no competitive level and with crossover goals. Like he'd like to be able to run a half marathon. He has some not a knee injury, but knee pain at the moment. So I'm rehabbing him through that. I'll talk you through a bit.
What do you think's going on with that knee?
There's nothing mechanical, I don't think. I think it's more referred pain from a tension maybe somewhere else or a weakness somewhere else, and also heightened neurologically because of its because of the intensity that it could be.
What's it feeling like, this knee on this guy?
feels fine, looks fine, moves fine. So mechanically.
No, I mean, he must be getting some
Oh,
pain.
I see,
What's
sorry.
that pain feeling like? Like, is it clicking? Is it stabbing?
Yeah,
is it like when it's moving?
It's
is it
just
all the
kind of
time?
like a dull stab, if that's kind of possible. Like, as he goes through a squat kind of a knee flexion kind of range of motion, more in a squat pattern than like leg extension. He's fine.
Is it?
That kind of thing. Yeah. It's more just like that squat pattern. So there's a couple of things in the squat pattern, that could be changed a little bit. We did some warm ups today, like a one-legged wall sit, and done it like a 150-degree bend at the knee kind of thing.
So you mean not very bent?
Yeah.
Only a little bit bent knee.
Yeah. And so what you looking?
And what's this good for?
Warming up the knees. So obviously I'm not a physio and I can't really diagnose, but I've got a bit of a checklist per body part that's like, if you come to me and you say my shoulder hurts, there's a couple tests that I go for to screen things and then go, right, this and this is probably what you need to do. Try it for a bit and see if it works. Go and spend 50 quid on a physio that's probably shit if you want, but my advice is probably sound.
Unless you go to the White House clinic.
Greg at the White House.
Yeah, you go
or any
Greg
of the
Roberts,
other gents and ladies at the White House.
Do you know how many physios they've got there now?
How many?
Loads. They're expanding.
Keeping the legitimacy high.
I spoke to Greg and he literally said to me, but I vet everyone and we're keeping it strong. Like, I can't remember his exact words, but I didn't even ask him.
Greg, I trust.
Yeah.
Because he's the only physio that's got bigger biceps than me. So
that's how it works. This means he's also got bigger brains.
Yeah, too right. And he looks good in a pair of shorts. Stick in the back.
Yeah, I spoke to him, I can't remember, 2 weeks ago, just briefly. And yeah, he was. I noticed because I went onto their website and I thought there's loads of physios here. So I was talking to him about it, a couple of messages and stuff like this, and he said, "Yeah, but we're obviously keeping the standard."
Good.
Of course they are.
Yeah.
That's why they're taking over, because they're the best physios. So anyway, if you are literally in Sheffield, you need to go to the White House Physiotherapy Clinic. They've got 10 clinics now.
10 clinics?
Yeah, or something. They've got one in Nottingham. They've got one over somewhere, and there's like. They're in and around sort of South Yorkshire area-ish, but they also do video consultations, and I've done these and had clients do these, so it doesn't matter where you are in the world.
That's nice.
You can go to the White House Physiotherapy Clinic Sheffield, you can book in a video consult, and they can do they can watch you do the tests of movements and stuff like that. They don't actually have to be there touching you and moving you. Really,
I've been physioed like that before, virtually, and it does work.
Yeah, it does work. Literally, it does work. Maybe not for every single thing, and they would tell you if you tried to book in and they thought that it wasn't going to work for you in that specific instance. But for a lot of things, if they get you to do a few movements and get you to, talk about what's wrong, they can make diagnosis. Yeah, and then they send you through an app with a list of like a training plan for like rehab.
Because it's similar to us, isn't it? Like if you saw a video that a client sent you, showed me a video that your client did send you of good technique. But if you see
the guy with the amazing squat,
and RDL,
what a guy.
Macros Inc. client, we'll get to him, episode 2. Yeah. But similarly, you can diagnose based on that. Like, you need to cue this, you need to focus on this, you need to squeeze that.
Agreed.
So if it's your vocation, you can absolutely just do it like that, can't you? Virtually.
Yeah, but I also agree with you. Most physiotherapists suck. Also, listen.
Most personal trainers.
Can I just say something that's going to upset everybody?
Get in.
Chiropractors suck.
Chiropractors are the fucking worst.
Do you know if I love you, I don't want you to go to a chiropractor. Yeah, but Connor, how about stop? How about stop? Everything a chiropractor does that's good is physiotherapy. Everything else that they do is made up bullshit and lies.
Fucking witch doctor.
Literally, they're not. They're not manipulating your spine with their hands. No. Let's not pretend that's a real thing. They're not doing myofascial release.
Let's give you a short-term sense of gratification as a marketing ploy, so you come back and get it again when it starts feeling bad, because we haven't addressed the source of the issue.
They don't usually address sources of the issue, not unless they're physiotherapy tactics.
I once went to a chiropractor when I was 15 and had some legit back issues, or 16 it might have been. He spent 20 minutes with me, cracked me everywhere, gave me a piece of paper.
Which does nothing, by the way.
No.
The cracking's not a real thing.
Gave me a piece of paper which had something written on it that he thought it might be and told me to Google it, and then charged me 55 quid and let me leave.
Yeah, I mean, this sounds standard, to be honest. The cracking does nothing. Obviously, the cracks are a real thing. I crack my fingers sometimes.
I crack my back every time I train.
But it's not flipping, you're not misaligned. And if you are misaligned, nobody's realigning you with their hands. What, are you made of jello? Yeah. What are you made from?
And what good would that be? I'll just take that bone and put it here. No.
You were saying one of your goals is to squat 180. Yeah. If I could come over there and rearrange your spine with my hands, what would happen if you put a 180 bar on your back? Yeah, you'd
be like a hot knife through Lurpak. It wouldn't be good.
It would actually. It would. They're not myofascial releasing nothing. No. They're not doing knots.
They're collecting peas and going home.
Yeah, making cheddar.
Yeah. And so I am going to see a lady called Dr. Priscilla Cho. So apologies, I'm going to have butchered that. She's Asian lady, which is why I'm struggling with the name. And her father was very famous for his Eastern medicine type beliefs and things, so chi type stuff and acupuncture and things like this. And I went to a mental health course that she did that was all about like body positionings and in tuning your kind of chi and your body posture, your body language, with like your brain mechanics as well. And she is technically a chiropractor, but operates much more under those kind of terms. And I'm going to go and see her next Monday, actually. I'm looking forward to it.
For what?
A couple things. Like my back has always looked like the letter S. It's been a bit of a mess, and I've gotten infinitely better at it. I've corrected a lot.
Do you mean
of it.
left to right or front to back? I mean, I'm talking
cross-sectionally from the side.
I'm being serious. I mean, like, do you mean like scoliosis, or do you mean like lordosis kyphosis?
So when I was younger, there was a pretty obvious bit of scoliosis in like my mid-thoracic. And my spine is reasonably straight now. I can't tell anymore to my eye.
I can't tell.
No. I do have a tissue build-up on the right-hand side where it's swollen and there is just more tissue there in general, which if I don't train for like a 2-week period, like when I went around Bali on holiday for 2 weeks and I was sat on buses and things, I find that I've not got long before that gets very excruciating, and it's like it stops me sleeping and things, so like that's annoying. Historically as a kid and through until a couple of years ago, I was very lordotic in my lower back, which means having an excessive curve in my lower back. Everyone has a natural curve to their lumbar spine, but mine was excessive to the point that it chewed up my discs.
Which way, like booty popping?
Yes, booty popping. Instagram chicken.
Okay.
Yeah. Stiletto wearing. Slut dropping.
Oh no, stop it now.
And so I fixed this quite a bit as well. But I'm still very intolerant to extension. If I try and put my spine into extension, snappage occurs.
Which, for people at home, put your spine into extension, what does that mean?
That sticking your ass out, curving your back in a arched kind of way.
Okay.
As opposed to the other option would be flexing it, so rounding the back. Like if you think in like yoga, like the cat-cow position, the cow is the flexion of the spine and the
rounding is the spine.
Yeah, rounding, like this for the people watching, and then the extension is
the watch on YouTube if you're listening.
Come and watch us on YouTube, people. It's a great show.
We've got no background, we have no setting, we have no logos.
We have no shit to talk about.
We don't even have the whiteboard this week because it's been commandeered.
Just imagine a big sign, the Connor.
We could get it edited on in post, but I'm just not going to do that. I'm just not going to do that.
These are too many efforts. What was I saying?
We were talking about spines. You were making spinal excuses, which you seem to do once a week. We have to talk about Will's spine issues, which are semi-real and semi-not real.
When I was like 14...
Because also you've got the strongest back than flipping most people.
Maybe.
So how many issues you've got is highly debatable.
When I was about 14, I was doing pull-ups and something went in my upper thoracic, and for about 3 weeks I couldn't lift my arms above here, and I had the most intense shooting nerve pain ever. And that hasn't happened since, but then when I was...
stuck like a pencil.
Yeah. It was
you were me.
Weird.
You were basically me.
And I remember doing, you're awkward, just walking around.
Linear.
You look like a pencil.
Just a straight man. Exactly.
You're like the rubber end of a pencil.
Thank you.
Yeah, get it. And that hasn't happened since, but when I was 16, 18, and then recently about a month ago, I injured my lower back very severely in a way that feels dangerously spinal. It was never muscular.
I just look when you say spinal. I don't know why.
Spinal.
It's not even. No, it's not your accent. It's just the word spinal.
Spinal's funny.
I remember when you.
Spinal's a good time.
You You injured yourself deadlifting semi-recently and sent me a voice message and you went, it feels very spinal. I literally played it to your brother and his business partner.
Did you?
Yeah, I said, Will sent me this.
I was probably trying to do an impression of Mike Tyson. you know. And it's the thing, is I'm not joking. So like, when you've like, oh, there goes a muscle. I've done that before, for example, but very
so you mean it's bone?
Locally inside my spine, I feel a pop.
Oh.
And then on this occasion a month ago, I couldn't get out of bed for 2 days. When I got home that night, first of all, oh God, just disabling, like walking to the tram. I managed to get in a seat in the tram, and then when it gets to my stop, I start trying to get out of my chair, and I'm like, I can't move. I literally can't move. It will be coming on a month ago now.
Oh, so this is when you're injured, not like now?
No.
Good.
This was the day I did it. Okay. And I literally just had to choose intense pain and just grab the pole in front of me and ride myself out of it, and it was goddamn excruciating.
You're not going to go get your chia line to try and fix this eyebrow, because we need actual real help. Over here, because it's not. Let me tell you one thing: if your spine pops deadlifting, it's not your chi. I'm just going to say this, bro. Exactly.
Chi wasn't alive.
Exactly. Yeah, it's not.
Hey,
we need real support, sir.
We're spiritual and ethereal, and
I'm not against it. Literally, I'm just saying, if your spine hurts, listen.
We need a specific.
It's not your chakras. Stop.
That's funny. I know, you're right. It will be a mechanical approach, but I think there's a lot going on actually. Like I think a lot to do with the reason why I'm not so powerful overhead in my pressing is because of my. Belts. Huh? Oh gosh, you're coming for war today, Mr. 13-inch arms over there.
Have we
got a tape measure? That's a good game. Let's play that. Why don't we slide that wristwatch all the way up and get it up near your shoulder?
Oh, here we go. He's trying. I forgot what I was going to say now, because you're razzing me too much.
Good.
I was going to razz you back, but I've forgotten.
Well.
I was going to ask you if is the next thing going to be we've got small delts because of a spinal excuse? Okay. Please explain to me why you've got small delts.
Do you want to shut up and listen to the biomechanist, you fucking skinny little nutritionist?
I do.
Because I'll tell you what's up, and you're goddamn listening.
I'm listening.
Alrighty.
I'm ready. Wait.
So.
Wait.
Get your chi in.
Wait. I need to
get your chi.
I can't sit loaded in this chair, so that's why I'm getting rowdy.
You need to hit this guy.
Isn't it?
I'm telling you, this is the way. Do you want to try my option?
No.
You're hitting lotus.
No, I can't look at this.
You get a knee through there.
It's blocked there now.
You can get a knee through there.
Never mind.
You're weak.
Sorry, go on. Small delts. Why are you weaker than me overhead?
So
tell me.
No. So there's a very proven concept. Shut up and listen.
I'm sorry. Wait.
So, proximal stability.
No.
means distal weakness.
Shut up.
This is very well recorded. Do you know why you don't know about this? Because this is my area of expertise.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, wait, I'm crying. We've got small delts. Why? It's a proximal stability. It's impossible. This is too much for me, this episode.
I said weakness, not smallness.
Oh, thank you for listening, ladies and gentlemen. This has been Fit Talk Radio.
Do you know what we haven't done is start the timer?
It's over. We're going to have to end the podcast.
Go. The podcast starts now. You know that 5-minute intro we were talking about having nailed?
Oh, we've gone nowhere. I'm sorry, wait. You'd have to explain to me and everybody else. Number one, what are you talking about?
Do you know what? I was planning on doing that. Until you got all tomatoey in the face.
Proximal stability is what, sorry?
Proximal means close to the spine, right? Distal means distant.
Okay.
If you are limited by proximal stability, i.e. you have a asymmetry, and the closer it is to the spine, the more it affects your distal strength.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Quite a lot of this is neurological, in terms of your body will often choose to switch off certain strengths in positions if it doesn't think you have the stability to maintain proximal stability kind of thing. So as in stability of the spine. So if you have something like, even a mild case such as mine of scoliosis, it's a very obvious gateway to your body not enjoying power output in certain kind of motions and things. And something like thoracic scoliosis, that means you can't extend your thoracic, means that something that requires extension, like a overhead press, is very, very limited.
Okay.
You know, the scapula don't want to move properly. It's hard to gain the mobility because there's all of the tissue that's there, the cramping that you get in the spine and the muscle around it. But more just that kind of neurological issue to do with it. Like I've noticed as well, like my left serratus, my left rhomboid, and teres major, those muscles, they don't really work.
Side and back muscles, basically.
Yeah, the things that elevate and depress my scapula and things like this and my arm, they don't work nearly as well as on my right hand side. And it's those kind of asymmetries that I've seen many times in athletes that come in with a deficiency in, say, a squat or a press or something, and they're like, I've never been able to progress this, and then they fix their distal stability issues, and that strength just starts skyrocketing. That's been seen to happen quite a lot in athletics and athletes.
Okay.
So this is kind of the tree I'm barking up.
This makes sense. I'm going to make a request to you across all the rest of the history of the podcast is, when you're talking about this stuff, use the good language that you enjoy and the simple versions.
Okay, what did I say that was too complicated then?
Nothing's too complicated, but you know, like when you're using words like proximal, distal.
Yeah.
We were talking about hip positions and stuff like this,
and the muscles and that. Yeah.
Yeah, just for the breadth of listeners.
Yeah, too right.
Because we learned this, do you remember, when we first started the podcast, and we were talking about basic things, and we were talking about glutes, and then we got messages of people saying, "What's a glute?" You say you do remember? Yeah. So people are at different levels. If you don't remember, or if I don't remember, quiz it. That's why I'm asking you these questions.
Yeah, because it's how I like to do it. I'll try and do it how I like to do it with clients as well, which is lead with the legit terms and then explain what that means.
In a more simple fashion.
Yeah, so they're starting to understand it. Like I'll say, so to have good power output, we need what's called proximal stability. Proximal means close to the spine. And if these muscles that attach to it, around it, and function to keep it stable aren't doing their job properly, it's hard to find that. That's the foundation, isn't it, for any...
tight, stable core, basically described.
Yeah. And then you start getting to what we call like the stacked joint theory, which technically works from the ground up. And obviously all your joints going through your feet, then your ankles, your knees, your hips, upwards, all stacked on top of each other. And they should follow a certain kind of theme of being stable and then mobile. So stable means without movement. So like your foot, for example, has many different bones in it and has the option to flex in different directions and move.
Okay.
That movement as a foundation, imagine if you had a house that moved on its foundations, it means the rest of the house is unstable.
So if you don't have stable feet.
So you need stable feet. Yeah.
That makes sense, so you've got a good base.
Yes, and then the next joint, the ankle, needs to be mobile.
Foot training, I would say, is something that's kind of underutilized in athletics,
and to call you out
work,
even by you as well, because that was one of the last things that I fixed about your squat. Was that your feet were caving when you get to the bottom of it because of limited ankle mobility. So again, that stacked joint theory, it feeds back in each direction. If one of the things isn't doing its job properly, if the feet aren't stable, it might mean the ankles don't work properly. If the ankles aren't mobile, it might mean that the feet have to sacrifice stability to get you low in a squat. And you go up the joints like this, like the knee wants to be stable as well. The knee can't be mobile. It can only, but it can be mobile in some extent, but the joint is always mobile. It's the flexibility.
Forwards, backwards plane, like that it moves in, because obviously the leg moves in and out. But like
so that wants to be...
That needs to be obviously mobile, but
you can get the same thing in the wrist as well. When you're benching, you want the hand to be stable. Yeah, you want so like the wrist, you want that to be stable. You want the elbow to be mobile. You know, all these things. So you
kind of
the shoulder to be
bit
stable.
Of a pattern,
yeah, and it's the same theory from like the spine outwards as well. If you're trying to brace and create power and tension, you brace and you lock in all of the muscles in the middle. Also, it's dangerous for your spine to go through too much. Well, not through motion while you have load on it, but if it's heavy load, it's pretty dangerous for your spine to go through extension, flexion. It's again that curving of the spine. It's dangerous for the spine to do that with heavy amounts of weight on it. Innit?
Yeah, this all makes sense. This all makes sense. And you're right what you say about the feet as well. I used to skateboard a lot when I was younger, didn't I? So I had ankle problems and stuff like this, and I had weak bones from flipping chemotherapy and all this kind of stuff. Yeah, so I had all kinds of ankle problems, and I ended up with plantar fasciitis, didn't I?
I remember this.
for a long time, and then now through weight training and stretching, and these days I do a lot of specific foot and ankle training. Mostly just slow calf raises, like really slow, giant stretch, slow on the way up, hold at the top. Sometimes I'll even hold at the top on the toes for like 5 seconds. It's not doing much to the calf muscle, but it's just putting that pressure through the foot and through the toes and through the tendons on the bottom of the feet.
So it's crossing over modalities between like a bodybuilding approach and then more of a functional, I'd like to be able to go.
It has made my calves a bit bigger.
Yeah,
sure, but I'm also doing it for the foot strengthening. One of my favorite things to do, which I haven't done since we've been at this gym, is put way too much weight on a sled or a prowler and then push it really slow. So I'm putting my foot down and then driving up through the toes.
That's
and then
powerful.
the next one, and then like way too much weight, so it's moving quite slow, and I'm literally like rolling through the feet and pushing. That's really good. And then doing it backwards is not bad. That's supposed to be good for your knees.
Awesome for the knees.
Yeah,
reverse sled pull. Yeah,
and it's also decent for your feet as well, because you kind of push in and then push back, and it kind of like. So my feet have got a lot stronger from doing that, and now I have no ankle problems, no feet problems, nothing like this.
Yeah, training your tib as well. So
I've never done that.
I've never. Actually, no, that's a lie. I have done that a little bit, but with no programming. The tib being the tibialis anterior.
You're doing well already, Steve.
I'm trying. See?
Yeah, exactly.
So this is the muscle on the front of the shin.
Yeah, exactly. It pulls your toes
toe upwards.
So the calf pushes the foot away, doesn't it? Like
which is called extension of the ankle. Then you've got the opposite flexion.
And this is like on the front of the shin, and it pulls up. My front shins did start to get really jacked. I took a picture of it when I started running more.
Yeah, I remember
It must be the downward impact. So I actually started to build like strange shin muscle.
Picking your foot up as well. Yeah.
Maybe, do you think so? Against body weight air resistance pickups.
Yeah, and momentum, literally. Well, like the exercise I used to do, you just lean your hips up to your head onto a wall, step your feet about a foot forward, and then so you're on your heels, and then just pull your toes up towards your knees. That's like one of the most legit tib exercises for, not for bodybuilding, which not many people are going to bodybuild the tib anyway, but for athletics. That's a big one.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's good.
Should probably do a couple of sets a week though.
I'll show you.
Of like the toe pull-ups.
I'll show you.
Of some kind. There's machines, you can do it with a dumbbell, can't you?
Yeah.
Bands sometimes.
I think that's the better option, and then doing it one-legged, the one I was just talking about. Yeah, you could add weight to that as well a bit, but that's a good place to start. I find it very interesting looking at mechanics. So I guess to cover one of your other questions, my speciality would be biomechanics is like the background. So that's like applied mechanical physics to the skeleton. What that means is your skeleton without any muscle on it is just levers. And then the muscles become pulleys as a leverage system so that you can manipulate your skeleton by pulling muscles in certain directions. My study is the science of that, which then bleeds into bodybuilding coaching, because it's like, how can you best engage a muscle? Or it could be more performance orientated powerlifting or weightlifting coaching. So how much you can lift, how you can manipulate mechanics and physics to lift the most amount of weight possible. So that's kind of my
But then also it bleeds out more into, you could do little bits of postural correction, you can do little bits of pain.
Yeah, so it means I've got a toe in the physio arena.
Better movement and mobility overall comes from these things, better strength overall.
Yes, I'm a really good person to come and train with if you have strength goals. Like this chap's just got now, like he's got goals to support his hockey. So I'm like, right, okay, so we need some athletic things that overlap in their functionality between
like what?
Building muscle and giving athletic output. So say like we might do more of take like a split squat. We split squat today. So immediately we're taxing a unilateral, so one-sided component. He's got to think about his foot stability. He's training his glutes and his quads. So it's a very efficient exercise to get hypertrophy from it. So grow his muscles, because he's got aesthetic goals as well as strength goals. It's very functional for testing his side-to-side balance. It trains his quad and glute pretty evenly. And if you're going to pick one exercise, it's nice to choose something that, if you can, for the sake of time, that trains more things. And then, so it carries over nicely to his hockey as well.
It's also hard on cardio. It's also, you could argue like core stability and balance benefits, couldn't you? You could also argue a bit of a stretch on the back leg. It's not bad for a hip flexor stretch, especially if you do a bit of a longer stance. So
we'll be doing like calf exercises that aren't bodybuilding ones that are like, have you ever heard triple extension calf raises?
Don't know. Describe this to me.
So imagine the side view of a sprinter as it's running with its back leg on the floor and his front leg knee pulled up, so he's like taking off, yeah? That would be like triple extension. So that's extension through joints. Again, extension going through the knee, so the knee is as straight as possible, and then the hip is as far forward as possible, yeah?
Right.
And then the ankle as well ends up in full extension, so like we were saying, like pushing down.
Okay. I don't know if I'm imagining this wrong, but this sounds like normal calf raises.
So what you do is you lean against a wall at that kind of angle, so your foot's flat on the floor, knee forward, everything else in line with it, and then calf raise towards the wall like that, pulling your other knee up with it, so you end up in that sprinting position. This is...
I'm finding this hard to imagine.
I know, I'll have to show you, and it won't make sense for people listening. But that's recorded as been one of the... I may be able to show you. It's going to be... I think you'll have a good understanding from the angle that you're at. I'm not sure that the listeners at home will.
Okay, I'll take the understanding. I'm prepared for this.
Screw these listeners. So you'd maybe be like... And the further away you go, the harder it would be. You'd come to the wall, you can go like elbows or something. If I was here, this isn't too hard. This leg comes up, and then I'm just...
that's a lot simpler than it sounded.
Yeah.
It's just one-legged calf raises basically on an angle with your knee.
Yeah, and then you'd look to try and start in this stretch position, so as far as you can away.
I can see why that would definitely have athletic performance benefits, because that's the exact sprinting and running and powering position.
And it's interesting the way that the glutes work, so the bum muscle. If you raise one knee up, if you're stood on one leg, stood up, and you raise one knee as high as you can, the higher you go, you're asking your hips to do two things. One side is trying to flex, and the other side is trying to extend. And what it asks the glute to do is squeeze as hard as possible. So if if you've got a client and you're like, I don't know what a glute is, I don't know how to squeeze my bum. If you get them to do step up and kick through at the top, if you did this now, you'd feel your glute really tense up at the top.
To keep the hips stable on one side while it moves the other side.
Yeah, exactly. So things like that, athletic crossover, so...
That makes sense. You know that angle, the triple extension calf raise you just showed, is it possible to do that like off of some kind of box so that you could get more range out of the bottom? You know, like if you,
for sure.
If you did it on a step-up box...
You'd use a wedge.
You'd have to use something very stable and heavy or flat or, something.
Use one of the wedges, like a cheese wedge.
Yeah. You know, so it's like a sprinter's starting block kind of thing, but maybe the other way, so it adds more range onto it. That could also be good.
Yeah.
But I can see why the angle and the stretch also does that though, because the calf's already on that sort of...
Basically, yeah. And like I say, for another thing would be, I had a rugby chap last week, and so we got him doing safety bar box squats. So
describe the safety bar.
The safety bar is just an easier bar to learn to squat on, because the squatting mechanics don't really change, as in like how you're squatting, but it does pull your centre of gravity forward. A barbell on your back, often people aren't mobile enough to just jump in and do that. So he would have had to do a lot of mobility training to be able to get low enough, right? Maybe in his shoulders, maybe in his hips, maybe in his ankles. Safety bar sits on your back and it has two handles that come either side of your face and come forward. So you hold it
facing
in front of you, like kind of how you'd put your thumbs on like a backpack strap, like you hold here. And that just makes everything easier. And then doing like a box squat, we weren't going to full depth. So obviously usually in a squat, you get the prudes like me that are like hip depth always. You always have to get your hips below your knees. That's a proper squat. But if you think about a rugby position, they never have to produce power from a hip below knee position. They start slightly more upright on their haunches and then quickly explode power out. So we set a box up so that when he finishes his squat, he's not in a full squat, he's a little higher. Means he doesn't need to work on his mobility as much, which he can do separately if he wants to. Means he can load heavier because he's doing less range of motion, less volume. And it carries over much stronger to his rugby because it's just working in the range that is appropriate for him. So everything about that is like, that's going to build good big quads. But we're not just wasting energy in the bottom of a squat that isn't necessary for your sport. So it's crossing over those modalities. So that's kind of where I thrive as a trainer.
Really good, yeah. So we're kind of getting somewhere in this conversation now. So we've talked about how we're kind of making it somewhere. We've been going nearly 40, that's good.
Yeah, I've been waffling. 40?
Yeah, nearly.
Jesus.
39 minutes.
And just shake this.
Is that a protein shake?
Yes, my morning sludge, yeah.
What's in there?
Vanilla protein, it's quite nice actually.
What, and then milk or what?
And then milk, hit the milk. hit these thick boy shakes.
Yeah, so you've talked about how you train some different sports people, athletes, biomechanics people, but this is only half of what you do. You also train general population people, because I don't want people leaving this episode thinking, I can't go to Will if I don't play field hockey, or something like this, because this is absolutely not the case. And I would probably say that most of your clients, that's not the case.
Definitely.
Over time, probably 75% of your clients are just general people, just
Gen pop.
I was going to say normal people, but everybody's normal or no one's normal, depending on which way you're going to look at it. But non-specific athletic sports people.
We were talking about it yesterday, weren't we? One of our favourite things is to train completely new people. I'll admit an element of that is that it's easy for us. You know, you don't have to delve quite into the depths of your knowledge, but you get to fall back onto the things that you've practiced for years, because it was the first thing you ever learned, kind of thing, and you perfected it, and you understand how to make these people change like that.
I would say, sorry to interrupt, I would say with training that's kind of the case. I would say with nutrition it's kind of the opposite, you know.
Go on.
If a beginner comes to nutrition, it's more difficult, because I have to teach them more, I have to bring them more up to space. Their habits are way further away from where they need to be. If somebody comes to me and they already know everything, okay, well that skips the education stage, now we only have application. If somebody comes to me practice on application, and I only have to make a few tweaks to the diet, that's easy. So one of the reasons I like beginners, and I almost exclusively work with beginners, is because you can make the most change in someone, whether it's training or nutrition. I like taking someone from 0% and seeing how many percent we can get them.
I've heard you say that
basically.
before.
I like moving people forward as far as they can be moved forward, regardless of what modality that takes. But I understand what you mean for training. It's about the basics, and it's about movement, and it's about consistency, just getting them in the gym, getting them enjoying it, getting them doing a few movements, keep coming back, keep doing it, and people get better and better and better and better. Yeah.
Like I started with a new client last week who's really lovely. She's never really been in a gym before. Already has infinitely better technique than when she started on things, and just wants to get a little stronger, a little leaner. And you know, like she's now coming in the morning and walks on the treadmill to get steps up, goes and then walks at lunch at work and has good food choices, and we talk about all these things, and then she sees me once or twice a week, and we look at some strength movements, which she's not quite confident enough to do on her own yet, but is happy to try as hard as anything when she's with me, learning some new things, gets some things, maybe some perspectives in sight of what might be possible in the future. Ooh, maybe I'll do a push-up, maybe I'll squat this, all these things.
Very nice.
And it is very nice, it's very nice to see. So I do find myself doing quite a lot of that as well.
Yeah, so you do have sports clients, but you also have normal, again, I'm using the word normal, sorry, but just general, just people who are not sports people, who are just looking to move
people
a bit better,
who come to the gym
better, want to
as
get
a means
stronger.
to an end, not just like, I like the gym.
Yeah, maybe they want some more confidence with
life.
movements, maybe they want to get better at the exercise, maybe they want to learn more. You also do fat loss clients, don't you? And you're quite humble with your fat loss clients, I always notice, because you always pretend you know less about fat loss than you actually, and nutrition than you actually do. We've been on podcasts for hundreds of hours, bro, talking about all this. So let's just not pretend. But I know you're just humble about it. And I know it's not your specific area.
Well, this is it. I don't want to get caught out as advertising myself as someone that's a genius in these things. Like,
no, but you're still way better than 99%, not even 99%, 99.9, even 99.99. Add more nines.
Hey, listen, I'll take it.
Go for it.
I'll take it.
But I do notice your humility in that area.
Well, I feel like I've got a nice balance between the two. Like, for some of the clients you've worked with, and again, you're more gen pop for the fat loss as well. But when you have had some very like diabetic type things, I couldn't and wouldn't want to deal with.
I understand.
Yes,
that,
so I don't advertise that. But like I work in a gym, and in a gym, it's best used for getting strong, for getting mechanically healthy, for adding muscle, these kind of things. So that's what I'm an expert on. And then something that always goes hand in hand with that is how much fat you have on you. So I need to know enough about that to coach people through it. But then someone like yourself, you don't work in a gym anymore.
No.
So and you focus on fat loss is mainly your gig. And then you know way more than enough about gym to be able to advise people on training as well. And half of your job is still training stuff and programming things. So I think we have a nice split there. Like, you're not as nerdy and as specific and as educated about the mechanics that I am, and I'm vice versa. And I'd say we are about the same percentages of knowledge in each other's kind of game.
That's nice.
Do you know what I mean?
That's nice.
Do you agree?
Yeah, of course I agree.
Yeah, I think that's an interesting way of looking at it.
Of course I agree.
I'd say I'd know like 90% of the things that you're ever going to need to know about nutrition, and then those specifics afterwards, I ain't got a Scooby. And then you're probably similar about like what happens with internal rotation on a squat at the bottom of the, things like this.
Yeah.
Like you know how to squat, you know how to teach a squatter. You might not know what fibre is getting attacked at a specific point in it.
My knowledge is all based on what is useful and practical with clients mostly. Like, I have nerd knowledge. And especially in nutrition, like one of my niches is I know the answers to basically all the questions.
I find that interesting about you because it's just on script, it's just on tap in the back of the brain.
It's just who I am. I just know the deals. Sorry, it's just the way it is. So I do have nerd knowledge, especially on nutrition. But really, the breadth of my knowledge and experience and skill comes in applying it to clients and what actually helps people. Like I'm not like really into biochemistry that much of nutrition. Like you could be into the you could be into the biochemistry or whatever term you'd want to call it of training as well. Like mTOR pathway and AMPK kinase.
I've never been into that. Because I've always thought you were about the biochemistry of fat loss, but
yeah, sure, to like a way higher level than most people could deal with. Literally to like higher levels than most people can even comprehend, but still there's more levels of it. Like my boss at Macros Inc., Brad Dieter, or my nutrition mentor Martin McDonald, or these people, they know just unbelievable amounts of just like biochemistry and just like if you talk to Lee Bell about training, they're the Lee Bell of training basically. Do you know what I mean? His level of like enzyme pathways and stuff like this is just like insanity.
Every time I talk to him about science, every sentence there is the word that I've never heard of.
That's what I'm saying, and that's not where I live in that world, and I don't really try to. Not because I don't like it, because I do find it interesting, and we are both way further down those paths than most people are. But I try not to go down those paths too much because it doesn't help my clients, and that's what I do. I help people. I get people results, and it's not me spending all that time on that. It's never going to come up. It doesn't happen.
So I spend half my time trying to bridge that gap as well, like not overloading clients with information, but in my opinion, and this is probably different between nutrition and biomechanics, is that it's like using a tool. If you understand how a tool works, say like a clutch in a car, if you actually understand how that's functioning, you have a much better understanding of how to use it, because you haven't just learnt it and you're copying. You actually understand how to perhaps be intuitive with it, and what would be the word? Like, I can't think of the word, but to use it kind of organically. You're not just like staying within the lines. This is how I've learned it. This is how I use it. I actually understand why this is how it works.
Kind of like when you were at mine yesterday and we were on the guitar. I can replicate and play somebody else's songs, but we were looking at how the music's made, and how it's built, and the notes and where they come from, and stuff like that. And then you have more freedom to use the tool at a wider sort of range, with a bit more of art and finesse to it, rather than just like replication.
Yeah. So I like to be like. You've seen that app on my phone. Let me show this to the camera, see if people appreciate this. This app before.
Sure.
Yeah, so scooching over to the YouTubers. Hi guys, how we doing? So this little app here, is that going to get in the way of the light? There we go. So that's a skeleton. And then what I can do is layer up muscle on that, bit by bit. I can press the muscle button.
That's a good angle that you've got there.
There we go.
You can see that.
And I can add more and more muscle. Get rid of it like that. And I always like to show clients like that, like how the muscle attaches, where it attaches, so that when you're thinking about moving, you understand what's happening, like how it's a leverage system, how the muscles are pulleys that work and act on it. And then it's like at the end, at the extreme of that, you don't then need to know any bicep exercises. If you just know the function of the bicep, all you need to do is figure out a way to add resistance to it, and then do that. That's why I was one of the best trainees in lockdown, was because I didn't have any equipment, but I just understood how to manipulate physics to make shit hard. Like if I don't have weight, okay, how can I make it harder? Via mechanics. So that's kind of my gig. Should we close out my episode?
If you feel so.
What else was there on that?
Is there anything else that you'd like to go through that you think we've not covered? So we spoke about who you train. You do a wide variety of people. We've got sports performance people, we've got injury rehab people, we've got performance people, we've got fat loss people, we've got general people looking to feel a bit stronger and move a little bit better. So you do a wide range of goals. You've got your online coaching and your in-person coaching. This is a new deal now.
Yeah, so my online coaching is going to be a slow starter, and that's fine by me. And my income at the minute is in-person clients.
Yeah.
And I'm definitely just going to be taking on online clients bit by bit. Like, I think the best kind of trainee for that would be client for online. Would be someone who has trained maybe for a little bit already, understands how to kind of read a program, you know, kind of anywhere from like amateur through to like semi-pro or something like that. So that so as to say, you can come to the gym, you have been to the gym, you don't have any anxieties about going in and picking a bench and cracking on. And then you at least have a understanding of the language to do with the gym, like, you know what sets and reps are, you might know what training to failure is. And then I will start teaching you about like what rate of perceived exertion is and what reps and reserve is and how you can read a program that I write so that you can then go into the gym and act on it. And then those clients will receive weekly check-ins as well as day-to-day communications if they want it. And it's going to be fun. It's going to be a nice way of just spreading the information a little bit, getting a little army going of people getting strong and doing it my way. I mean, it's maybe slightly different to how other people would function online. I have my modalities of training that are both slightly backed by science and also completely biased by me. That I think
like what? Give a description of this.
Okay, so one would maybe be that my preference in training for someone who's been training for a while already, that they're already quite trained, is to do much less variation of exercise per body part and focus more on how much you can get out of the one or two exercises that you do. So say for chest, you might just do bench and a version of flies.
Bro, this just sounds like the right thing to do to me. I mean, this just sounds like...
Maybe that's why it's different to everyone else.
This just sounds like it's just correct programming. It's just correct programming.
Yeah, so things like that. So there's some certain theories and things that I personally believe in, and it requires a lot of coaching and understanding to get it right. But that's what it's there for, people.
Interesting. It's a little bit unique training, a little bit of unique results. So yeah, you've got your online. How much is it costing for your online coaching?
75 a month.
75 quid. And then people get what? You do like what, they fill in a form online? Describe to me the process of what's going on with this.
You would email me to apply, just talk to me if you see me in the gym, whatever.
Where? Instagram?
Instagram.
WH Body Architect.
WH
Will
Body
Hukin,
Architect.
Body Architect, yeah.
Email's in the link, as is the link to sign up. So if you know you want to sign up, you can go and pay through the Instagram page and just sign up. But to inquire, to talk to me first, to get in touch,
DM you on Insta or something.
DM me on Insta or hit the email up, and then it'd be a case of I would invite you. If you hadn't chosen the package through the Instagram page, you could pay it that way. Or I can invite you, I send you the package, you then choose to pay, you get sent it and you sign up. You download an app called Kahunes, which is the app that I use. I guess that's a sponsor now.
Okay, everyone's a sponsor. Even though
I'm paying them.
Oh, interesting.
You download this app, you get sent an initial questionnaire which asks you all the things about your goals, your preferences, your history, these things. Then I get to creating a detailed program for you. Like I said, my specialty is program, bodybuilding, powerlifting, general things in the gym. So that's the brunt of it. If you needed a calorie and macro controlled diet plan, I can do this as well, but I'm not a nutritionist. So I can support those things and answer questions for you, but that isn't what I do.
Yeah, but also listen, you know that I'll just consult you for free as well, don't you?
True.
You know this.
Yeah, so get to Connor through me.
You know this. You know if your clients have got questions, don't. This is that humble thing you're doing again, because your clients are never going to have a question that you won't know.
You're right.
You're like, I'm not good at calories. Shut your mouth. Just shut your mouth.
Basically, it's to say some very few people that are like in the 0.1% of training prefer programs for diet, which are like eat this exact food at this exact time, and they don't care about life, they just care about gym, and that's all they want, so they're happy to sacrifice socializing and flavor all for the sake of gains. And that isn't how I operate. I operate on a much more...
Very few people are successful.
No, I agree. I operate on a much more individual-based circumstance where, look, these are the tools, these are the guidelines, figure it out yourself, and I'll help you do that. Then you'll also get a weekly check-in form, which is sent to you. It asks you, like, how's the program going? Is there anything you want to change? How are you feeling? And then, as well as that, just a kind of open door policy on day-to-day messaging if you've got questions about things. So it's a fun little system, and it's going to be good fun when we get people onto it.
It's definitely a good system. I remember the first time you showed me, I was very surprised and impressed. Because it's not easy to set all this stuff up, and you've done it in very smart ways. It's definitely 100% going to be successful. Obviously, the clients are going to get results because it's based on science, so it's impossible to fail.
Come on now.
So people will fill in this form. They tell you what type of training they like to do, what they can do, how many days they want.
Yeah,
it's got loads of questions on it.
So many questions. Yeah.
So they fill. It's not complicated questions. It's basics. It's mostly about their preferences, isn't it? I remember when you showed me, so that you know what you need to be making the program out of.
Yeah. And if you go to start with an online coach, and they have 4 questions as an immediate initial questionnaire, you might be like, oh, that's nice and concise. He must really know what he's doing. Incorrect. The more, the better. I want to know how you sleep. You know, the more I know about you, the better I can create a program for you and then coach you.
I completely agree.
It's not complicated, but it takes a minute. I expect effort and input and communication.
And how does it work with the training program? They fill in the training program each week as they do it. Into the app, and then you review it?
Yeah. So you will have your days.
Days of the week that you do the training.
So it might say like day 3 upper body push, and then if that's the program, I don't know, and then you'll look at it, and it might say bench, incline, this, that, and the other, with some information where it's necessary per exercise. You'll click log this workout. It then opens up a blank page of sets, reps, and weight, so that you can put in what reps you've done, what weight you've done. You can leave notes if it's like, this machine was busy, so I decided to do this. I had knee pain on this exercise. You submit it, I look through it, I say, job well done, and then you just do that every session.
Make any adjustments needed to the program.
Yeah, exactly. And then that's part of that weekly questionnaire. Do you want to change anything? Is it suiting you? Are you bored? These things, and then we can look about changing things.
Very good. What I would recommend if I was a client trying to work with Will Hukin, if you want one-to-one PT, I think good. Come down to the station gym if you're like local to Sheffield, or you're willing to just drive a little bit. Come get some sessions with you, whether it's short-term or long-term. In 2 to 4 sessions, you could teach someone to train decent, couldn't you? You know, if someone gave you 2 to 4 sessions, I'll live a bit away, but I'm going to come down 2 to 4 times.
If you open your ears and you're there for that session, it can work.
You could get somebody set up with some good information and some basic principles and protocols to get them through maybe even a year's worth of training in 2 to 4 sessions, couldn't you? Let's be honest.
And let's be honest. Sure, it's a sales tactic, but just being honest, it's so fucking worth it. How many people do you know that have just wasted 5 years in the gym?
Everyone.
Just not figuring shit out?
I did that. Me.
You know what I mean?
I literally did that, yeah.
So delegate a couple $100, whatever, to...
Any goal you've got in life, if you want to do well at it, you find people who are doing well at it, you get a teacher, a tutor, a mentor, you need peers, and then you learn from people that are already doing well, and then you just exponentially increase your results. This is what everybody does with everything if they take it seriously or want to be successful at it, basically. Or if you want to get there at a faster pace than you would do otherwise. So you can come down for you for one-to-one sessions, can't you? Or if you want to be an online client, I would either sign up to your online coaching, and then maybe even come for like a couple of one-off sessions or something like that. I think that'd be nice if a client did. I mean, it's up to you how you run your business and what you do with clients.
I can coach technique through the online stuff if you're submitting videos, which is one of the things I suggest. But it's infinitely better to have immediate feedback.
So what clients can film themselves, do exercises, and then send it over to you, and you judge the technique. I do this as well.
Yeah, they can ask me for techniques on things, and I can send them videos.
I do
like
this as well, But if you can, even if you live a bit away, if you're in this country and you come down for one session. I know what you're like as well. You'll book an hour and a half with some people if they've just got one-off sessions.
Yeah, if it's one-off sessions, I get too anxious about the idea of not teaching you enough. So I tend to say it's an hour and then we go over by a bit.
Yeah, or I've seen you book hour and a half with people because you know it's going to be like that.
I have a client that I see a week every time for an hour and a half because he's just strong and needs an hour and a half.
Yeah, or if you've only got a one-off with somebody, I would recommend them not coming to book an hour with you. Pay for an hour and a half if you're only going to come once a month or once every 6 months, or if you're getting a one-off. You sign up to Wills Online and then you come in once. I would book 2 hours.
Yeah.
Just book 2 hours in one go. You can just go through everything and just not rush.
You might think I'm not gonna have the energy for a 2 hour session. It's not.
It's not going to be like that.
It's not going to be let's hurt you this session. We're looking at things and figuring them out and making sure
you'll talk them through the program, show them how to do all the different movements, not even with heavy weights, just nice light ones, and then also go through a bit of a session to show intensity.
Yeah.
You could do education for an hour and then not even maybe 1 hour and then 1 hour, but spread out through the session. There'd be bits of education and talking and discussions and teaching.
This is always how it goes.
And then you'd also have enough time to fit in an hour's worth of full actual training to show the client some intensity and how they should lift, what it feels like to go through the session at a decent pace. You could get all kinds of stuff done. So there's loads of options. I know the way that you work. You're flexible to each individual client as well. So if somebody wants service, they can just message you and you'll just work something out together, won't you?
Yeah, and I'm gonna arrogantly say that I'm very good at listening to my clients as well. There are so many cookie cutter personal trainers that are, I'm a bodybuilder, I do this, and then they get a client and they try and push that agenda on them as well. I will listen to what you want and I will give you the program that works for it. I'm not going to say, well, actually, I quite like doing ring work, so I'm going to make you do a muscle up. And we're going to, if you don't give a shit, we're going to do what you want to do. We're going to figure out the best way to do it.
We've been discussing 2 different personal trainers lately who've done exactly that. Don't say names, don't say where they are or what's going on or anything like this. But we've been discussing 2 different personal trainers literally within 1 week who've done like consultations with people that we know or something like this. And I've just heard the recommendations and thought, what? One of them was exactly what you've just describing. The person did not listen to what the client wanted at all. The client even said, I don't like this and think this is right for me. And the personal trainer said, well, it's just, this is where we're going to start. So we'll just do it. And then we'll think about changing it later. I thought, what? This is literally the person's goals. The program wasn't even fitting the person's goals, literally. The person wanted to build muscle. The coach said to the person, well, we're going to start off with fat loss and we're going to do cutting. The person, it's a lady, said, no, but I don't want to cut. I've just done all my cutting. I'm looking to build up. No, well, you can't just build up. We're going to do this. I thought, what?
It got to be a mixture of ill morals, as in you literally just don't give a shit.
Just don't care.
And then also slight stupidity. If you only exist within your lines and you don't have the confidence to just like do it different the way that someone's asked for it to be done. It's just incompetent. Just figure your shit out.
And then again, don't say nothing. But what about Rebecca Grayson's new client, who she was with, and then it was me, you, and her, and she showed you that. She got this new client, and they came with the program that the old trainer made them. And she showed me first. You weren't there at that minute, and she said, "Oh, this is the program that the previous trainer made for this client." And I went, "What?
What is this?
What?" Firstly, it was on like scraggy paper. Secondly, it was handwritten with the worst handwriting ever. It was barely legible. There was way too much information. All the information was wrong.
Nothing like too much of the wrong information.
Yeah. The training program was the worst training program, which made no sense. When she told me the clients like this and this and this, and these are the goals. The training program made less than 0 sense. The food plan, firstly, it's technically illegal for this person to do food plans anyway, because you're just not even qualified to do that. So just don't. Why? And then it was chicken, rice, eggs, whey protein.
Fun is cancelled. No flavour.
Turkey, broccoli, chicken, rice.
Cocoa Pops for dinner.
Cocoa Pops
for dinner.
Like we're a flipping insulin using steroid taking bodybuilder.
Again, that less than 1% of bodybuilders that just don't care about life.
Stop it.
Stupid behaviour.
And then I loved it when you came and she showed you the program. You looked at it within 4 seconds, pulled out about 5 things I didn't even notice. I was stuck on the paper and the handwriting and the information being wrong. And then you looked at it and said, and what about this and this and this? And we were just laughing. I mean, it's awful for the client. Beck said after she spoke to the client that program was given to her, that the client nearly cried literally and was getting a bit emotional because they felt a bit like not good about what had happened and they'd been having a really bad time.
It's silly. And,
the client had been following that program as well, doing all those stupid exercises in that terrible order and eating that meal plan. The client had been doing it. So had been really upset about doing all this stuff they didn't have to do. And then she gave them the actual real advice, like making it a lot easier and simpler, and they were like overwhelmed.
I wish we could shout him out.
Literally.
Them out.
We should have done a podcast of us getting that program out.
Oh,
and
dude.
showing it.
We should do this.
Ripping
we
it.
will do. Can we do this?
Yeah, we can do this.
All right, cool. Without naming names. My goal, get us to the point, people, where we can say whatever we want, and I'm gonna make some enemies.
Are you really?
Yeah.
Oh, God.
I'm calling bitches out.
Oh.
Because not for the sake of it, not for the sake of that, but in a figure your shit out type manner, you know? There is a correct way to do things, and if you're trying to manipulate and trick the population into just giving you money, no, I'm not here for it.
Yeah, this trainer also
I'm here
didn't
to fix personal training.
I'm with you.
Yeah.
I'm with you. This trainer also didn't do the check-ins with the client that they said they were going to do.
He's a shit personal trainer.
Anyway, funny bro. What do you think? Anything else?
I don't think so. So, should we talk about you?
I think we've spoke about some things, haven't we? We've been somewhere.
Yeah, we've had a good
Somewhere
time.
we've
I mean, let's. What's your Instagram? Let's plug you.
Are we doing
Let's
sponsors?
do a sponsor.
Today's episode is sponsored by
Today on Fit Talk Radio.
Fit Talk Radio, Radio 105, coming to your airwaves. Airwaves. Two episodes weekly. Your health and happiness radio. It's Fat Loss Fitness and Food Radio. It's Connor Rhodes and Will Hukin Radio. Radio.
We're sponsored by.
We're sponsored
Mr.
by
Connor Rhodes.
me.
Me and me. The
Connor
only
Rhodes
two.
Fitness on Instagram. Also Macros Inc., the company that I work for. If you want online fitness coaching by anybody in the world that's not Will Hukin, then you should go to macrosinc.net.
I agree with this.
This is the case, bro. They either get you or you get Macros Inc. or you're going to get,
Yeah.
I don't understand what your other options for good service
Rebecca
are.
Grayson, if you want to work in the middle of the day.
Yeah, if you need a personal trainer local to Sheffield. I don't think she's got any online at the minute, has she? I don't think she does any online
hasn't started that
coaching.
yet, has she?
No,
No.
I don't know if that's her plan either, to be honest.
She'll be a guest. You'll meet her. And then we're sponsored by Me, Myself and I, WH Body Architect on Instagram. You will find me here. I'm trying to create content at the minute. I would appreciate feedback. I think I'm a comedian, but I'd like your input. We're sponsored by the Station Gym Sheffield on Mansfield Road, the old fire station. It's excellent. It's big. It's red. It's got a giant tower with a Space Invader on it. You should come down and train here.
We're all here.
Check out the cafe. Check out the food. Check out Tom, Phil.
Oh, I've got a meeting with somebody I've known for a long time. Somebody I've known since when I was younger. My life was awful. Messaged me online for asking for like some nutrition advice. I'm meeting him here tomorrow morning, just to chat.
Someone I know?
No, but if you're here, I'll introduce you to this guy. He's called Lewis. He's really nice.
Cool.
Used to be really nice to me when my life was terrible, so I just love this guy forever. I always have memories of everybody who was nice to me when my life was shit, because now I'm going to be nice to you. Watch.
That's good.
Yeah, honestly. Message me at random saying, I want some nutrition advice, and I know you do this, that, and the other, so can I like pay for some advice? Firstly, I'm like, no, you can't pay. You can have it all for free, number one. Secondly, I said, all right, yeah, come to this station gym on Mansfield Road. He was like, oh, I'm already a member.
Oh, get it.
I know. I was like, oh, are you? He said, yeah, everyone's so friendly.
Lewis
Gray's called.
He's not ginger, is he?
No.
Oh, okay, no, I don't know.
It's tomorrow at 10 a.m. anyway, so are you down here tomorrow at 10 a.m.?
Maybe, yeah.
Yeah, so if you're about, I'll be sat in the cafe talking to this guy until probably like 11 or something like that.
I
So
might well
just come say hi, because if you see him around the gym, just help him.
Cool.
Yeah, isn't it just, if you know if he's got any tips or anything like this he wants.
Yeah, might be.
Yeah, he said he's already down there, and he's like, oh, all the staff are so friendly. I was like, I know, bro, this is why we're here. I know, bro. We're not here, none of us are here by accident.
And this is it, this is the theme, this is the ethos. We're trying to change the game. The station is already changing the game. And collectively, we're a force to be reckoned with, I think.
Who else are we sponsored by? Rebecca Grayson PT. She's yeah, of course we are. She's FitFix90 on FitFix90 on Instagram. Which I don't know why 90. I've never asked her. What's that?
1990.
That's the year she's born. I've just realised.
Aren't you cute?
I've literally just realised that's why it is. I thought she'd do like a 90-day program or
Brad with
what
the big
is
brain.
it? You know. Who else? Marcus Hukin.
Marcus Hukin Hair.
Marcus Hukin Hair on Instagram.
And Abbeydale Road.
Yeah, what's the shop called?
It's got an M and a H on the front of it.
Is that what it is?
It's like his logo, an M and a H.
Oh, because it's Marcus Hukin.
Yeah.
I didn't realise that.
And
for
it's
a second.
Marcus, and it's Marcus Hukin, and it's also Mitchell and Hukin, because his business partner now, Tom Mitchell, is a good lad. He's a good lad. I've trained him a couple
It's
times.
Mitchell and Hukin, isn't
Yeah,
it?
yeah.
That sounds nice, actually. It sounds like a solicitor's.
It does, doesn't
Mitchell
it?
and
Very much
Hukin,
so.
yeah.
Very much so, yeah.
Yeah.
He's a very sweet chap, actually. I've trained him a couple of times. He's a client of mine. And I'm a client of his because I have hairs to be cut and I'm looking homeless at the minute and this shit needs dealing with. So I'll be getting booked in with him soon. And you should too, for all of your haircut needs.
Is that it?
I like these podcast sections. I want to get a real, like, like announcing a baseball type show on it, like, ladies and gentlemen, we are sponsored by down at Aberdeen Road. You think don't find your haircut needs.
I've never watched baseball. If you want to do that, go for it.
I'm going for it.
You just go for it.
We're
If
Americans,
you want to
yeah.
do the ads, you can be the play-by-play. Anything else?
No, bro. Knuckles. We'll
Thanks
see
for
you in the
listening,
next
ladies
one.
and gentlemen. See you on the
Thank
next
you.
episode.